Today's review is sponsored by the Emperor's new clothing line. It'll be like you're wearing absolutely nothing, and it's guaranteed to cause some traffic accidents.
Watch it, Alan, I'm shooting.
The Hills Run Red. So, August is almost over, we're getting into September, and then it's October. And you all know what that means. It'll be my October ranking series to celebrate the Halloween season. This year, I'll be counting down my 31 favorite horror movies from the 2000s. The year 2000 to the year 2009. I'm really looking forward to this one. I'm going to be working on that for the next few weeks. But I decided to give you all a little sneak peek to get everybody excited for October. The Hills Run Red just barely missed the list by like that much. It doesn't quite make the top 31, but it's a very close 32nd. It makes the number 32 spot. But I still wanted to talk about it, so I figured, why not review it now to get everyone excited for October? I know we still got to go through September, but who cares? We're getting into autumn, and I want to talk about this one, so let's get into it.
Fucking run, Serena, run!
The Hills Run Red is a slasher movie that came out in 2009. It's a love letter to 80s slasher movies, and it's a very underrated flick. The movie follows a young man named Tyler who is obsessed with this lost horror movie called The Hills Run Red. It was directed back in the 1980s by a man named Wilson Wyler Concannon. It only premiered once and was instantly banned. All the copies were destroyed. All that exists now are some still shots and a trailer.
Concannon was doing something. Something that scared people enough to want to bury it. Don't you want to know what?
Who's to say it shouldn't stay buried?
The movie has become legendary for how scary it was, how disturbing it was. So many stories around this mysterious lost film. Tyler has become obsessed with finding The Hills Run Red, so he decides to make a documentary about it. He gathers his friend together, his friend Alex and his girlfriend Serena, and they set out to try and find a copy of this movie. Tyler's also able to find Alexa, the daughter of the director of The Hills Run Red. Together they set out deep into the woods to find the house where the movie was filmed. But this is a slasher movie, so we know things ain't gonna go well. Alexa keeps having flashbacks to her father making this movie, and they soon run into the terrifying Babyface.
You can't be. You're dead.
I love the idea of a lost movie. There are so many horror films that have been lost to time, well, movies in other genres as well, but I'm a horror guy, so I'm going to focus on that. But yeah, so many horror movies have been lost to time, and we may never get to see them. London After Midnight from 1927, The Terror from 1928, All-American Massacre from 1999. I recently discovered there was a documentary about that, and I will be checking it out. And there are plenty other movies in horror and outside of horror that have been completely lost. We might get to see them in the future, but we might not be able to be. I like to think that there's a copy of these movies out there somewhere, and sometime in the future we might actually be able to see them. But it's a fascinating topic, and I like the idea of a movie trying to find a lost film. There are some horror movies out there like that, but I think we could use more.
This thing is only famous because it's so obscure.
See, now you understand. It's time to prove or disprove the legend. Here, I'm gonna find it, rediscover it, and do a documentary on the whole history.
Right. Easier said than done.
Just a heads up before we go any further, I am going to have spoilers later on in this video. In order to talk about my favorite aspects of the movie, I'm going to have to give away some major plot points. But don't worry, they're going to be coming later, and I will warn you before we actually get into the spoilers, so let's move on. Now, The Hills Run Red is a love letter to 80s slasher movies, particularly the Backwoods slasher flicks or the summer camp slasher flicks, with a hint of Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1974. The killer of this movie is Babyface. He's an awesome, intimidating killer. He's got a good, solid design. It's simple, but effective. The simplicity of this design helps it be appealing to the audience, and he's clearly inspired by those big, brutish killers from the 1970s and the 1980s, like Leatherface and Jason Voorhees. What I appreciate about The Hills Run Red is that it's a love letter to 80s slasher movies, but it doesn't rely on punching you in the face with references. There are references here and there, but they're more subtle. I think the best way to make a tribute to a specific genre or a specific era of film is not by filling it with fan service, Easter eggs, and references. I think you should just make a good movie in that genre. And that's what The Hills Run Red does. It's just a good, solid slasher movie.
Fuck.
Except for the ending, which I am not going to spoil here, but I will say when you see it, it's clearly a ripoff from another movie. I won't say what movie, but when you see it, you'll know. The characters have a complicated relationship. Now, don't worry, these are not spoilers. This all happens towards the beginning of the movie. First, we have Tyler, Alex, and Serena. Now, Tyler and Serena are dating, but they have a strained relationship due to Tyler's obsession with this lost film. He focuses so much on The Hills Run Red that he has a habit of neglecting other parts of his life. As a result, Serena ends up sleeping with Alex.
We're supposed to, quote, get ready.
Where is he?
Jason Kincannon's daughter.
I guess that lets us off the hook then.
Meanwhile, as this is happening, Tyler has located the director's daughter, Alexa Kincannon. She's a drug addict, she works at a strip club. Not that I'm knocking strippers at all, I'm a pole dancer myself, but she seems to be down on her luck in a situation that she does not want to be in. She's addicted to drugs, everything seems to be going wrong, so Tyler takes a few days to trap her in a hotel room and cure her of her addiction, dealing with her withdrawals and things like that. So there are all these dynamics between these characters as they go out into the woods. Now, I'm not really big on love triangles. There's nothing wrong with them, but for me, they're one of the easiest ways to cause drama in a film or TV show or whatever. But that's not really what's happening here. It's a complicated situation that's creating tension between these characters. Serena and Alex have pretty much been neglected by Tyler, so they find comfort in each other, or at least Serena finds comfort in Alex. I'm not condoning cheating, but that's the situation. Serena even tries to deny what happened and insist that it was only a one-time thing, whereas Alex is willing to ignore what happened, but it still happened.
Follow. It's a one-time thing. Stays in Vegas. That's the way it's gotta be.
Hey, that's cool. That's what I thought it was.
Good.
At the same time, Tyler has developed some attraction towards Alexa, mostly due to her connection to this lost film that he has been obsessed with. And he does, in a way, feel protective over her, but in an odd way.
Oh, wait. Stop.
I didn't say cut.
No.
The characters in The Hills Run Red aren't good people, but they're not bad people either. They're flawed people who are making mistakes, and I appreciate how the movie handles that. As you're watching it, you're like, okay, you people are fucking up, but I'm still willing to spend a movie with you all. It's not like other movies where the filmmakers go out of their way to make every character so insufferable and so unlikable. In The Hills Run Red, yeah, okay, the killers are fucking up here and there, but you're still willing to spend time with them because they are interesting characters, and in a way you understand the situation. And this being a slasher movie, the kills are good.
When night falls, the hills run red. If you hear his rattle, it's already too late.
We have some solid standout kills in this one. There is some CGI here and there. It does look wonky at times, but it doesn't ruin the movie. And there are plenty of practical effects for us gorehounds. We as slasher fans, when it comes to slasher movies, we like one or two standout kills in our flicks. The Hills Run Red, I think, has enough standout kills to make us slasher fans happy. And now for the spoilers. We're getting into my favorite aspects of the movie, and that is going to require me to spoil a lot. So, if you do not want spoilers, please skip to this time in the video, or pause this video and go watch The Hills Run Red. If you're a slasher fan, I think you'll like this one. Okay, we're getting into it. Spoilers in 3, 2, 1. So, when we get to the third act, we learn that this movie is basically if the family from Texas Chainsaw Massacre were a bunch of filmmakers.
That is hardcore. That is hardcore.
As the movie goes on and our main characters enter these woods, there are a few instances where we see a camera filming the group. We move on from there, and then the killer Babyface makes his appearance, and it's a good appearance. As the movie continues and we get into the third act, we learn that this slasher film that they have been looking for is a snuff film. This family has been making a real-life slasher movie, actually killing people and inserting it into this film. They've killed many people over the years for this movie, and this group is now... they've been filmed in secret this entire time to be inserted into The Hills Run Red. And how are they able to do this? Well, Alexa Kincannon has been in on it from the beginning.
You don't have to do this. You don't have to do it.
I'm sorry, lover girl, but the show must go on. But who are we kidding? You don't have a chance in hell of getting through this.
And Babyface is her inbred son. You heard right, inbred. He was literally conceived by Alexa and her father to play Babyface. I do think this is a fun, solid, sleazy slasher movie, but it gets mean in some parts. One of my favorite moments is when Babyface speaks.
You can keep singing if it makes you feel better.
It's a good, shocking moment. We think that this guy is your stereotypical big, lumbering, simple-minded killer like we see in the 80s, but he's not. He's a guy who's literally playing a character and bringing that character into reality. It's a fun twist on the slasher genre, similar to Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, which came out in 2006 before The Hills Run Red, but before that you had this movie Slashers from 2001, which was a movie about a reality TV show where people are literally being stalked by masked killers. Both of them are very fun. And of course, you have Scream from 1996, which is about horror fans killing people. Not quite like these other movies, but I do think it fits in the same category. But what I like about The Hills Run Red, which I think sets it apart from those other movies, In Scream, no one is filming the killers, it's just horror fans killing people, and in Rise of Leslie Vernon and slashers, it's people filming the killers as they're doing the killings, but in The Hills Run Red, the killers are making their own slasher movie. It's like, fuck it, the killers are taking charge of the movie. It helps set The Hills Run Red apart from other slasher movies. It helps it stand out in this genre, for me at least.
Action!
You really killed him.
Cut! Cracked!
The Hills Run Red is just a well-done, well-made slasher movie with a unique spin on the genre. I like horror movies that are about horror movies, and I think this is up there with the best. It may not be in the same league as the likes of Scream, but in my mind, it's damn close. And with that, let's get to the Grindhouse rankings. We've got a body count of about 24, I think. There are a lot of corpses in here, but I tried to only count the kills we see. The kills consist of, but are not limited to, stabbings, pickaxes to the head, a little torture, and one cool tree death. You just have to watch it. It reaches the slasher requirements with a high body count, a good killer, and a variety of different kills. There's plenty of nudity here, tits as far as the eye can see in the first act. I like the plot of this film. It goes into an interesting direction in the third act. Babyface is a good killer. He's brutal in his murders, and he has a good, unique, but simple design. There is some wonky CGI, but it doesn't ruin the movie. There's plenty of practical effects in the bloodshed. The ending is a bit of a ripoff of another horror movie. You'll know it when you see it. Other than that, this is a good love letter to the slasher genre, simply by just being a good slasher movie. I'm giving this a 4.5 out of 5. If you're a slasher fan, I think you'll like The Hills Run Red, especially if you want a slasher that's a little different. As always, I want to thank all of you for continuing to watch and support this channel. Please leave a comment down below. Let me know some of your favorite post-2000 slasher movies. I'm sure I've asked that before, but what the hell, here it is again. This is the Maniac, here to remind you that the Grindhouse will never die. And watch out for Babyface.
George Nelson, not Babyface!
Whoa, calm down, Skippy.